polyamory change the way you feel about sex? How?
The biggest change about how I feel about sex since being involved in poly is that it is such an incredible relief for me not to expect all of my needs to be met by one person. And the pressure that takes off of each other and one person is a beautiful thing. I mean, and the same argument goes is I wouldn't expect one of my friends to be interested in every single thing I'm interested in. I'd probably be bored because they'd be exactly like me. Well, maybe I wouldn't be bored, but we bored after a while anyway. So definitely, being involved in poly has changed how I felt about sex, and I've learned a whole bunch of different things about sex and what other people enjoy other than me. And so if part of me is into like cuddling, and that's the person that really likes to do that, and then if I'm into doing this kinky thing over here, there's this other person, and I've got a great sex education from poly people because I can argue with me, and I don't want to make grand sweeping statements, but I do sometimes, is the people who are involved, at least in the political end of the poly movement, seem to be really well sex educated, and that's hot. That's really hot.
I have to comment on the sense of relief. I felt the same way when I discovered that poly allowed that, in that now I could actually come up to my girlfriend and say, you know what, I think she's really hot. Do you think she and I would get along? Because she's a person that I trust. She's a person that I respect her opinion.
That's fun.
And when you can sort of discuss that and talk about it in a safe place, it's very like, I can finally do this. It finally, it's not going to get an appendage cut off if I actually discuss it.
To turn that just a little bit, it's really nice to find out that your partner has a specific kink that is of absolutely no interest to you. Right. And he has another partner and you can pursue that with. Yeah. That's really nice.
How does your polyamorous relationships play in with your family relationships with your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, and all those family functions we have like Thanksgiving and Christmas and weddings? What role do your multiple partners play in that?
Nobody wants that.
I can tell you the story of me coming out to my parents. My partner from Seattle, at the time, his wife was dating my oldest partner. And they were going to come up. We have a Thanksgiving dinner every year where I rent the church basement, and we have like 50, 60 people, and my partner and I would make a big turkey dinner, and everybody brings salad and dessert as their part of the thing. So we did that every year. And then this year, my boyfriend and Kat were coming up, and I thought, oh, my mother's going to say something. I just know. So I thought, well, I'm going to come out to them, I'm going to tell them this is what's going on, and get them prepared so that I don't have a moment. And they took it pretty well. They were a little thrown, but they took it pretty well. And their viewpoint was that I'm happy, and that's good. And whatever else is going on, my partner and I are going to work with as long as he's not feeling left out and all this. It's cool. So my mother was good. So we had this Thanksgiving, and she met Michael and Kat, and they got on well. And I even got her to call me Zoe as opposed to Zoanne, which is my real name I hate. She likes to come out. So I was having a very good day. And all the people that came to the party, usually I go around and I'll introduce them. So your name is, and I'm pretty good at names, so I'll know everybody's name. This time I thought I'd get them to say their name and how they knew me. Not realizing that 95% of them were poly people. So we ran around the thing, and everyone said, oh, from the poly group, Like, and my mom goes, holy crap, there's a lot of poly people in this. And that was how I came out to her. And so she still kind of wishes sometimes that I would get over this and, behave nicely. But she knows it's a phase, yeah. But they're very supportive, and it went very well. And the same when I went to my brother, the same thing. So finally you're happy, that's good.
my experience was quite different with my folks, and this is the risk we take when we come out. My wife and I had a girlfriend for about, I think, 2.5 years at that point. And my parents really grew to cherish this girl, and she became part of the family. Even with my parents, she was always welcome over for family dinners, holidays, Christmas Day, buy her gifts and stuff. So anyway, my wife and I made the decision to come out to my parents, because it's very important to me to communicate honestly with people, whether they like it or not. I want to be honest with people. That's an integrity thing on my end. So anyway, when I came out to my folks, primarily my mother was the main reactionary person, whatever. I told her, hey, we're Polly, and this is our girlfriend, and my mother was furious. And my parents completely shunned this girl and told her they would never want to see her around again. She can't even be in the driveway like if we were picking up our kids or whatever. And it devastated our girlfriend to go from, family one day to totally shunned the next. When my mother was furious, I asked her, because it kind of confused me. I thought she'd always kind of raised me with more open options for as far as her approval or whatever. Not that I need her approval, like I said, I gotta be honest with myself. So I asked her, I said, well, Mom, what if I told you I was gay? And she said, well, then I would have been okay. And I was like, really? So I said, well, why is that? And she said, well, then at least I would know you were with only one. And I was thinking in the back of my mind, obviously my mother doesn't know the case, I'm not sure but, you're just arguing a point that she's not going to understand at that point anyway, so I just said, okay, Mom. And it's created a lot of difficulties over the years, actually. Primarily my parents, and I respect them for this, but it's difficult to communicate about it. My parents are primarily concerned with our children and the impact it's going to have on them, and worried about how they're going to grow up, what choices they're going to make and stuff. And unfortunately, there's no real studies out there about children growing up in poly homes. I have lots of examples, but there's no hard, concrete evidence as far as scientific studies. And I've tried to talk to my parents about what are your oppositions to this exactly, and it's primarily on their religious and moral backgrounds. And even then, I can question it, but if they're set in those morals, I mean, like I said, it's the risk you take, and people are generally going to stick where they are unless they really do want to have an open mind about it. But I know other poly families that have much more positive experiences than I did, but that was one.
One of the reasons why I believe that I can be a successful therapist to those in the poly world is because of all the different things I've been through. My experience with my family was similar but worse. I didn't choose to tell them I was outed. And as I alluded to before, I was outed not only to my family but to the church that I belonged to, who I worked for, and my father is a bishop. So you can imagine that it was a pretty ugly scene, and it still goes on to this day. And similarly, my secondary partner was shunned for years. Interestingly enough, though, on a positive note, that was changed by the action of my 3 daughters. They boycotted family functions. They said they would not come and they would not bring their own children if he was not allowed to be there. That was pretty cool, I have to tell you. They didn't have to understand my lifestyle, they didn't have to want to do that too, but they respected me and my choices, and they stood by it. So,
our children are doing kind of a similar thing. We've always told our kids that whatever choices they make in life, we just want them to be happy, whether they're straight, gay, bi, poly, or mono. We would always support their decision, as long as they're making healthy choices within those boundaries. And our children, because of my parents, when they would go over there, my parents would say, hey, you guys got to go to church with us. And after a while, my kids were like, no, we're not down with that. So, we kind of encouraged them. We said, hey, there's still some good lessons there. We don't necessarily agree with everything, but there's a lot of good things to learn there. You can learn a lot of good ideas and have a lot of models for being a better person to your fellow human beings. So, but yeah, after a while, they were just like, we don't want to do that, and they're not going over there as much now. And I'm kind of leaving it up to my parents and my children to kind of figure out their own dynamic without our influence. Because I'm a firm believer in every relationship seeks its own level. So that's a big philosophy of mine. they'll find their own dynamic with or without us.
Yeah, actually, it was my kids who convinced me to come out to my parents. It was maybe about 5 years ago, and they were like, "Mom, we don't want to keep anything from Grandma and Grandpa. You need to tell them." I was like, "No, I'm not ready yet. Give me time, I'm like, "No, you have to come up to them." So I did, very carefully and tentatively, and my family has been nothing but supportive. And they live in a different province, so I don't really have issues of who to take to Thanksgiving dinner and where. I don't actually get to see them a lot. They're getting a bit older. They did come out and visit last year, and met one of my partners and his other partner, and that was fabulous. We spent some time together with my kids. And this last couple of months, when I've been stepping up a lot of my poly activism, putting a lot of things up on Facebook, every other day I put up a link or I put up something like, "Hey, I gave an interview," and usually my mom or dad says, "This is awesome, good for you." So they're commenting on Facebook and defending me to my other relatives.
That's awesome.
They're really tough.